Hello and welcome back to the second half of your Keychain project, making the drawing. What you'll first need to do in Onshape is go to your things that you've created, and I realize that mine looks a little bit different, but you're going to open up your Keychain, and here is my Keychain. Now, the thing you need to do to create a drawing is come over here to part 1 and right click, and you're going to choose create drawing of part 1. We're going to need to change this to custom template, and we need to change to 4 views. The rest of the settings should look like what's on the screen at this time. Just double check that yours looks like this before you continue. And when you're ready, click OK. What's going to be generated here is laid out in the right locations, but they're not the proper views. As you notice, this view over here should be a front view, which more appropriately would be looking like this. So to change that, we're going to hover over this view, which is in the front view location, and right click, and we're going to choose view orientation, and you want to select the proper view for yours. If you created this object in the top plane, then you'd click top. If you selected, when you made it to be on the front plane, you'd click front. So I'm going to select top to rotate mine, and the rest of the images will all rotate automatically. Right now, this is the layout I would like to see. If yours did not do what you expected, remember there is an undo button, and you can change the view of the front view, which lives here, to make it look like this, and your rest will all fall in line. So now that these are laid out, they're rotated in the right orientation, we're going to do a few things for setting this up. One of the first things to do, just because it looks really nice, is we're going to change this isometric view to a shaded view. So hover over here, you'll get this box that pops up, and right click, and you're going to click on show shaded view. And that looks pretty nice. We're not going to put any dimensions on the isometric view, so we just sharpen that view up here. It looks like the solid object you're going to be creating. Down here, this element down here is the text box. And if you notice, if we zoom in, it already has my name and it has the date. We're going to add some more things to this to show that it is this project. So if you see that there's already some pre-made, some different blocks in here for a title, we are going to go to this top one and double click. We're going to hit backspace to eliminate these dashed lines, and we're going to type a title. Engineering Keychain project would be good. And I'm going to hit enter to go down one line, and then I'm going to put my name. Please put your name here, not my name, and your class period. So I'm going to use the senior period 2 class, so 2A, and my name. Before I hit anything else, I just want to double check that this all looks good. The width is right. You'll notice that it's shifted up a little bit, but we'll fix that in a minute. I'm going to click the green check to say I'm finished. I want to get rid of these other ones because I'm not using them. So you can left click and hit delete, or you can right click and choose delete. Either way is fine. And then I'm just going to simply click and drag this to where I want it, and that looks good. So I have my title set up, I have this shaded, and our layout is looking pretty good. Now we're going to use some tools. We're going to start off by using this center mark, which is right here. And we're going to center mark our hole. If you don't have a hole in your keychain, then you'll skip that step. We need to have this mark when we're showing plans. Most often these types of objects are machined out. So they might use a drill bit or something like that. And we need to mark where the center is because we're going to be dimensioning to that center point rather than to the outside of the circle. Another tool that we need to use for that is this whole callout. We're going to select this and then click on our center mark. And we're going to pull this out diagonally over here. There's a reason why it's going in this location because there's some other things that will be in the way. So we're going to click. And what this is telling us is that there is a 0.17 inch hole that is through the whole object. I'm now going to come over here to the traditional dimension tool, and we will start by dimensioning the length of the keychain. Now, if you have a perfectly rectangular keychain with no curves, you could just click on an edge and pull it down. I'm going to click on both ends, which is another way you can do this, and pull this down. And I want to move this around to center my number here, the 2.5 inches, and you'll notice a red mark will pop up when I'm in the middle. So right now it's saying that's good. I'll go up or down to where I think it looks appropriate, and I'll click. Now we're going to mark how tall the object is. So we're going to click the top and the bottom again. Move over here. We're going to give us some space because we actually have to put some other things in here. So I'm coming way over here to the end. I'll click and hit. The next thing I need to do is we're going to be labeling where this center mark is. So just like you did when you made this in your keychain, we're going to click the center and we'll click the top edge and we're going to pull it over here. Now I'm not going to click yet because I actually don't like this being kind of jammed in there, but I can pull it out and I'm going to leave this here. So I'm dimensioning between those two locations. If I go over here, you could kind of move it around, but you want to keep it close to where you're working. Alternately, we could do this. I actually like it here better, so we're going to leave it down here. Then I'm going to click the center mark again and this left edge. Make sure you get the flat, not a curve. And I'm going to pull this up, and the same thing, I'm going to pull this over here. So that's looking pretty good. We got space between our objects. I have almost all of the things I need to do on this, and you may be done if you don't have any curved corners. If you have a curved corner and they're all symmetrical, you can do one of them, and we're going to click on the curve. And anytime we do rounded objects like we did with this through hole and this curve, we're going to move diagonally to label it. And if you look, I can pull this up, and this is lining up so that our through hole dimension is on the same horizon line as our radius. And I'll click that. And what this is saying is there's a radius of a 2-inch circle. So if I put a 2-inch circle in here, that would be the radius of that circle, this arc we have here. All right, our front view is looking pretty nice. Now, our front view took care of almost all of our dimensions, except for the thickness of our keychain, which we can see conveniently on the top view. I'll select these two locations. If it's easier to zoom in to select, that's fine. And I'll pull this over here. The other dimension that we have to deal with is the extrusion of our letters. So I'll do the same kind of motion over here. Again, I'll pull this out, just spin that over here. And I'm going to zoom back out again. So now we have the front view completely labeled. We have the top view completely done. We don't need to add anything on the right side view because we handled that with the top view. Right now you are completely done, and all you need to do is nothing because you have submitted your keychain already. This drawing is already associated with that file, and I can already see it. Nice job.